Punjabi. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadada Srivasadi Go Bhaktarinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha, Radhanath, Radha, Radhanath, Radhe. Jaya Giri Govardhan, Giri Govardhan, Giri Govardhan, Jaya Giri Govardhan. Jaya Gora Hare, Gora Hare, Gora Hare, Jaya Gora Hare. Detago Haribo, Haribo, Haribo. Gora Haribo. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya. Go Premanande, Sri Radhanath Ki, Sri Giriraj Govardhan Ki, Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu Gaur Hari Ki, Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki, Bhakti Vedanta Purports Ki, Srila Prabhupada's Transcendental Purports Ki, Itai Go Premanande. All glories to the symbol devotees, all glories to the symbol devotees, all glories to the symbol devotees. All glories to Guru and Gauranga. Salute to sweet Srila Prabhupada. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chevam Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudiraye Nasta Prayasya Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavaduttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistike. Hare Krishna. Thank you for attending this morning's class. I'll be reading from the 4th canto, chapter 11, text number 20. Jai Sri Sri Radhanath Ki, Sri Giriraj Govardhan Ki, Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu Ki Jai. Swayambhuva Manu advises Dhruva Maharaj, Na Vai Swapaksha Vipaksha Eva Va Parasya Mirtyo Vishata Samam Prajaha Tam Davamanam Anudavan Yanisha Yatha Rajamsi Anilam Bhuta Sangha Navai Swapaksha Vipaksha Hevava Navai Swapaksha Shiha Vipaksha Evacha Parasya Mityo Vishata Samam Prajaha Parasya Mityo Vishata Samam Praja Tam Davamanam Anudavancan Yanisha Tam Davamanam Anudavancan Yata Rajam Shanilam Bhuta Sangha Rajam Shi Anil Navai Swapaksha Vipaksha Hevava Parasya Mityo Vishata Nama Praja Samam Praja Tam Davamanam Anudavanchanisha Yata Rajamsi Rajaradam Shinanilam Bhuta Sangha Bhuta Sangha Navai Swapaksha Vipaksha Hevava Parasya Mityo Vishata Samam Prajaha Tam Davamanam Anudavanchanisha Da'avin Yatarajam Shi Anilam Bhuta Sangha Navai Swapaksha Shiha Vipaksha Hevava Prasya Mityo Vishata Samam Prajaha Tam Davamanam Anudavanchanisha Darajam Shi Anilam Bhuta Sangha Navai Swapaksha Shiha Vipaksha Hevava Parasya Mityo Vishata Samam Praja Tam Davamanam Anudaya Vanchanisha Yata Rajamshi Anilam Bhuta Sangha Navai Swapaksha Shiha Vipaksha Hevava Parasya Mityo Vishata Samam Praja Tam Davamanam Anudaya Vanchanisha Yatarajam Si Anilam Bhuta Sangha va swapaksha shiha vipaksha eva va parasya mityo vishata samam praja tam davamanam anudavanti yanisha yata rajamsi anilam bhuta sangha. Now, not why, however, swapaksha, ally, asya, of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, vipaksha, enemy, eva, certainly, va, or, parasya, of the Supreme, mrityo, in the form of time, vishata, entering, samam, equally, prajaha, living entities, tam, him, davamanam, moving, anudavanti, follow behind, anisha, dependent living entities, yatha, as, rajamshi, particles of dust, anilam, the wind, bhuta sangaha, other material elements. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, in His feature of eternal time, is present in the material world and is neutral towards everyone. No one is His ally, and no one is His enemy. Within the jurisdiction of the time element, everyone enjoys or suffers the result of his own karma or fruitive activities. As when the wind blows, small particles of dust fly in the air. So, according to one's particular karma, one suffers or enjoys material life. Can repeat responsibly? The Supreme Personality of Godhead, in His feature of eternal time, is present in the material world and is neutral towards everyone. No one is His ally, and no one is His enemy. Within the jurisdiction of time element, everyone enjoys or suffers the result of his own karma or fruitive activities. As when the wind blows, small particles of dust fly in the air. So according to one's particular karma, one suffers or enjoys material life. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Although the Supreme Person of Godhead is the original cause of all causes, He is not responsible for anyone's material sufferings or enjoyment. There is no such partiality on the part of the Supreme Lord. The less intelligent accuse the Supreme Lord of being partial and claim that this is why one enjoys in this material world and another suffers. But this verse specifically says that there is no such partiality on the part of the Supreme Lord. Living entities, however, are never independent. As soon as they declare the independence of the Supreme Controller, they are immediately put into the material world to try their luck freely as far as possible. When the material world is created for such misguided living entities, they create their own karma, fruitive activities, and take advantage of the time element, and thereby they create their own fortune or misfortune. Everyone is created, everyone is maintained, and everyone is ultimately killed. As far as these three things are concerned, the Lord is equal to everyone. It is according to one's karma that one suffers and enjoys. The limit is higher or lower position, his sufferings and enjoying are due to his own karma. The exact word used in this connection is anisha, which means dependent on their own karma. The example is given that the government gives everyone the facilities for governmental action and engagement, but by one's own choice one creates a situation which obliges him to exist under different types of consciousness. The example given in this verse is that when the wind blows, Particles of dust float in the air. Gradually lightning occurs, and then torrents of rain follow. And thus the rainy season creates a situation of varieties in the forest. God is very kind. He gives everyone an equal chance. But by the resultant action of one's own karma, one suffers or enjoys the material world. Om Jnana Timirandasya Gananjana Shalakaya Chakshunamalitam Jaina Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Jaina Bhutale Swayam Rupa Gadamayam Tadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunath Hanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakhan Vitamscha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanshana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Aripriye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavinebhyo Vaishnavabhyo Namo Namaha Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. As Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, the intricacies of karma are very, very difficult to comprehend. And the tendency is that those not in knowledge, they think that God, or they have this idea that God is responsible for our suffering or enjoying. And Krishna also, he absorbs himself from that. That is not involved in our karma, actually not directly in our reactions, or whether it's good or bad, whether we're suffering or enjoying. It's nothing to do with him. And yet Prabhupada is saying in the purport that we create the living entity due to his connection with this material world. Is incarcerated like a prison house, isn't any exist accordingly, of course, dominated or nurtured by the modes of material nature, whether one is goodness, to what degree is controlled or is influenced by the mode of goodness, passion, or ignorance, and he acts accordingly, he or she acts accordingly in the material world, enjoying or suffering the pangs of this material suffering. So he gives in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna gives a very nice, he figuratively mentions the body compared to a city. Nava Dwara, Pure Dehi, Nava Dwara, Nava means 9, Dware, doors or openings. Pure, the city, is compared to a city with 9 gates. And the gates are described as the ears, the nostrils, the mouth, the anus, the genitals, all the openings described like that. And Srila Prabhupada says the soul, although subjecting himself to the conditions of the body, can be beyond these conditions if he so desires. If he so desires, it's up to him. He has that prerogative whether to accept or reject his suffering condition, or or by knowledge, he can come to understand his original constitutional nature and come out of that incarceration, if he so desires. Owing only to forgetfulness of his superior nature, he identifies with the, probably the word sometimes, circumstantial material body, and therefore he suffers. Momentary, it is said that the soul is coming from the spiritual nature and is pure. And when it comes in contact with the material body, he said there's an incompatible situation arises. It's incompatible, the soul and this body. And when one is in a body state, he forgets that he is the soul, and he maintains, or he comes to this conclusion: yes, I am in the body, due to this illusionary energy of the material nature. He identifies with this body. By Krishna consciousness, he can revive his real position and thus come out of the embodiment. And thus, by taking to Krishna consciousness, he at once becomes completely aloof from the bodily activities. One becomes completely aloof from the bodily activities. So when one is in a realized state, he understands, yes, he has his material body, but how to make the best use of his material body. And Prabhupada sometimes would use that taking a material body means it's a bad bargain. We have to contend with bad, death, disease, old age. And to add to that, we have the onslaughts of the threefold kleshas, isn't? Adibautik, Adidevic, Adiatmic, and whatever we have to face in the material world, isn't? The ugly nature of this material world. Sometimes there's wars, there's pestilence, there's so many sufferings are there, tsunamis and earthquakes. Of course, when wars, yesterday's class mentioned Italy and Bonaparte. These were involved in so much of killing, isn't? So much of killing during wars. So one question that Hitler is on record, he said that he very orchestrated the mass extermination of 6 million Jews. Now, we can question, is it their karma to suffer like that? Is it their karma? Or is something different from that? Or some one person is involved or responsible for such atrocities? In Russian history also, the Stalins and the Lenins also contributed so much of suffering to the people, killing. So this is going on, this material nature, this material world. But due to the forgetfulness, we try to make a situation that we can still enjoy. This is the illusion of trying to make some comfort zone. We try to eke out some happiness in different ways. But all this is very temporary. Whatever happiness we get is fleeting. It's not like lasting. And therefore we become disillusioned. Even with family, we get attached to family, to siblings and extended families, and even to the extent of our fellow beings, isn't? And to our, in a national way, the country. We love this country. We get attached like that. And you think, yes, everything is so nice here. The people come from overseas, they come from the cold countries, and they think South Africa is so nice, it's like a heavenly planet. Yeah, and they want to live here. And we And we in this can think, oh, there's something better on the other side, isn't? We want to go to America, we want to go to New Zealand, Australia, thinking, yeah, we will, life will be better there. But this is the futility of this. It's all like very temporary. Even if we do become successful, it's all very temporary. When we have to succumb finally to the ultimate, as Krishna is saying, time, the time factor. What do we do with that time? Is very, very important. The time, like the verse in the Bhagavatam, ayurarati vaipumsam, from the rising of the sun to the setting of the sun, means one day closer. As you were saying yesterday, we're coming closer to our death. One day. But if we use that time to glorify the Supreme Lord, then it's kind of, that time factor is, it's kind of neutralized in one sense, because we're using that time, like we say, quality time. And that quality time is used to in devotional service. And that will all go well. Even if we leave this world, it'll make our life or our next, we'll get a spiritual body, like Prabhupada will say, like that. We want a spiritual body, or we come back to our original nature of being spiritual beings. Yes. But till that time, we understand, or we fail to understand that. So, when one has that realization, he says it's such a controlled, regulated life. He lives happy in the city of the 9 gates. This material body, this body, Dehi. This body is called, referred to as Dehi. Dehi no suman, yatha dehe, like that. Saying Dehi, this body. And what's so wonderful about this body, we get so attached to, and in youth, we think we'll be eternally youthful. No, that is a fallacy, that we will not use the time properly in our youth, and many people we go and preach to, and we say, no, we're still early, we have a lot of things to do, we have got to get a career, we have to do this, we have to do that, and then we'll think about God, think about self-realization in a later stage of life. But we know when old age comes, also the memory, this is the disease of forgetfulness that's there, isn't? Or sometimes the muscle disorder, Parkinson's. We have so many kinds of diseases that impair this body even in old age. So how will we? This is the gamble we take. It's a big gamble, speculating about, and that also is like wasting time. Is also gambling. Time and tide, as the proverb, waits for no man. Time lost, never regained. You cannot buy one iota of time, 1 second, one fleeting second of time. When it's gone, it's gone. So only by this process of devotional service we can get realization of that the time factor will influence us in a more positive way. Yes, that we can. Srila Prabhupada quotes from the Svetas Uttara Upanishad 3:18. Nava dwara pure dehi amso liyayate bahi vasi sarvasya lokasya stavarasya charasya cha. It says, the Supreme Godhead who is living within the body of the living entity is the control of all living entities all over the universe. The living entity in his conditioned stage identifies himself with the body. But when he identifies with the Lord, within, however, he becomes as free as the Lord while in this body. Srila Prabhupada quotes from the Svetasvata Uttara Upanishad there. In terms of the Lord not involved in he makes it very clear in the 5th chapter Bhagavad Gita that he is not responsible. Nada te kasya chit papam na chaiva sukritam vibhu agnena vritam jnanam tena muyanti jantava. Nor does the Supreme Lord assume anyone's sinful or pious activities. Very clear, isn't it? It makes it very clear. Embodied beings, however, are bewildered because of the ignorance which covers their real knowledge. And we tend to blame God, yes. Whatever crisis we go through, we blame God, or we become agnostic. Like religion becomes the opiate of the people. They become frustrated. They become bewildered. Where is God? They will say like that, when I needed him most. And we think of the Pandavas, what they went through. Isn't so much of trials and tribulations, atrocities they went through, but still Krishna was always with them because they never forgot Krishna. And Kunti in a prayer, she acknowledges that, doesn't she? Acknowledges all these wonderful prayers she's offering to Krishna, that how he saved them from so many atrocious activities. Seem externally they were put into such difficulty, but internally they had all the they were totally dependent on Krishna to protect them, and therefore Krishna was obligated to them in so many ways. So likewise also God becomes obliged to us when we surrender, when we have that surrendering mood of engaging in his activities. Gradually, initially we may have mixed devotional sentiments, but as we continue in our different activities by good association, we also tend to grasp that the ultimate goal of life is to become Krishna conscious. We can say, yeah, we are trying to become devotees. We're not there yet, or at least I'm not there yet. I'm trying to be a devotee, although years have gone by, but it shows how much of work we have to do from the past, of our past activities, or criminal activities, or sinful activities. They're still in the background of our subconsciousness, and all that has to be weeded out. These anathas are there, and always plaguing us, coming to the forefront sometimes. But when we continue, not undeterred, uninterrupted, ayutuki apratyata, he says, one performs ayutuki apratyata, unmotivated and uninterrupted. And that will completely, ayatma suprasidati, will give you complete satisfaction. That will give you some complete satisfaction. When we continue in that process of I remember Bhakti Charu Swami will always make the statement when he gives whenever he comes to in his first landmark speech, is it? As soon as he says, whatever happens, never leave ISKCON. Never leave ISKCON. Yeah. And I remember when I took initiation, I had to sign a oath of allegiance. Yeah, my Guru made me sign that I will oath of allegiance to to ISKCON. So I'm wondering why I'm still here, because I'm obligated to that to that oath. Yes, I took maybe 30 years ago or longer. So this is the conviction we have to have. Yes. Here we see the Lord absolve himself from all blame. He has nothing to do with our karma, whether good or bad. Actually, the Lord's desire for the conditioned soul is to become free from karma. Karma bandhana. He says karma binds us, whether it's good or bad. And he mentions three in that verse, in chapter 4. He says, one should understand what is karma, what is vikarma, and what is ha karma. Karma is that activity which we obediently follow, or we're very pious and we get a good result. We may go to the heavenly planets because of our good karma or pious sukriti. And we may go to the heavenly planets and enjoy and burn out all the good. Then we have to come back. Therefore, it's binding. Good karma binds us. What to speak of bad karma? Vikarma, he says, also binds us. When we act contrary to the teachings of the revealed scriptures, or we're very sinful, we atheistic, and we get a different result. We end up in the planets in the lower planets, in the hellish planets. And of course, they also, we have to save our time, incarcerated even further, and then come back. So both are binding. Good karma, and then he says, our karma, become free, karma free. Karma free, that's what he wants. And this way we become liberated from this karmic reactions, when we become free from that. Srila Prabhupada also said, there is no need of thinking how one should keep body and soul together. Krishna will see to that. One should always think himself helpless and should consider Krishna the only basis for his progress in life. As soon as one seriously engages in devotional service to the Lord in full Krishna consciousness, he at once becomes freed from the contamination of material nature. So the question which I was also get puzzled with, like if God gives us free will, isn't it a kind of to be like that giving us some independence? Is it? If He gives you free will to do what? Isn't that giving you independence? But yet we are not independent. Because why? We are dependent in so many ways and Krishna is saying, Rasaham Apsakauntaya, the water. He is the taste of water. Without water, we cannot survive. Vayu, the air. If we don't breathe, we'll die. Isn't it? So we are in so many ways indebted. It says when we take birth, we are indebted to so many factors, isn't the demigods, the devas there, your parents, your forefathers, the nurse that delivered you. So many, we are indebted. So how to repay that debt? How to repay that debt is to serve the Supreme. And by that way, everyone becomes fulfilled. Everyone becomes fulfilled I was listening to a nice story. Giriraj Swami was in the audios, very nice audios, and he was saying how Duryodhana hatched on a plan. He wanted to get rid of the Pandavas, and he knew that Durvasa Muni, if he's not satisfied, he becomes very angry and he would destroy. So he each on a plan that he will send Durvasa Muni with all his followers. Durvasa doesn't go alone; he goes with his big band, maybe 10,000 followers, to the house of the Pandavas for lunch. So it all was arranged. It so happened, and he said they must go at a certain time. And he knew that after a certain time, the Pandavas will finish their lunch and there'll be nothing. Duryodhana knew that. And then he'll expect Durvasa Muni to become angry and curse and destroy them. That was his plan. At that anointed time, Durvasa Muni arrived at the house, at the palace. Then he said, "No, we'll go and take bath. We'll cleanse ourselves. We're tired from all this, and then we'll think about taking prasadam." So meanwhile, there was pandemonium. There was nothing. All the prasad was finished. And somehow Krishna heard about it, and he came and he looked in the pot, and he tried to find one morsel, and he tasted it, knowing that Draupadi cooks with such bhakti, and he relished it. And when he relished it, it so happened the followers of Durvasa and Durvasa, they became satisfied without him, and they said, "No, it's too late to go to the house of the palace of the. We will just go away quietly. We won't even tell them anything." And this way, the Pandavas got saved. Yeah. So dependent on Krishna for everything. Yeah, when Krishna is fed, when Krishna is worshipped, then everyone else is everything. The demigods, your forefathers, everyone becomes pleased. Yes. The subjects discussed in Bhagavad Gita, we touched on that. And the 5 subject matters, and of these 5, the 4 are eternal. And 1, karma is temporary. That means your karma can change. You have the ability to change your karma. We see that, people who are attached to seeing look for their fortune, because these lines change every fortnight. And if you read your stars, we were attached to your stars foretell. We used to be very much into that. And every week it's changing. One day saying you're going to be very happy, you're going to win a fortune. The next is saying, no, you're going to be meeting with some tragedy. So it's always changing. Your karma is always changing. It's never eternal, because it's not eternal. So karma can be burnt, can be neutralized, mitigated. Just by one stroke of being Krishna conscious, we can clear all this bad debt, write it off, wipe the slate clean. So this is the wonderful process of devotional service. Na abhikrasa na sosti pratyavayo na vidyate swalpamapyasya dharmasya trayato mahat bayat mato bayat. So in this process, Krishna is saying, in this process of in this endeavor of devotional service. There is no loss or diminution. And whatever little will save you from the most dangerous type of fear. Whatever little. So this is the potency of devotional service, that it, whatever we do, even if we fall away from it, it is not lost. It accrues like your spiritual bank balance is there. And Prabhupada says in the purport, if you fail at 2%, then it will increase. From that spot where you stopped, it will take off again from that time. And Krishna also assures Arjuna in the 6th chapter. Arjuna is asking, what is the destination of a yogi who's practicing for short term and long term? What is the destination? And he's saying both are favorable. Nothing is lost. They will get a good birth, at least in a family of aristocrats, or a family of Vaishyas, or mercantile, or in a family of acharyas, like Prabhupada mentions that him and his Guru Maharaj, they came from such good fortune that in that way they came into the transcendental connection by some good fortune. So we all can pray for that good fortune also for us by engaging very nicely in this process of So by thinking of Krishna consciousness, a person who is in the conditioned state can gradually free himself from the reactions of material life. Since time immemorial, as well as the influences of the modes of nature, and liberate himself by this process of Krishna consciousness. And Krishna himself reassures us in the conclusions of Bhagavad Gita, Sarva Dharma Parijaja Mamakam Sharanam Braja. Give up all varieties of Dharma. Whatever you think, your idea of Dharma, and surrender to me. Do not fear. The guarantee is there. Ma Sachaha. Braja, come to me. Come to me. So this is the assurance that the Supreme Lord, and we have to have faith in that. We have to have full faith, 100% that Krishna will protect us. There's in conclusion, I was looking at this nice prayer by Govinda Das Kaviraj. I'm sure you all, it's very beautiful. We have time? 2 minutes? Bhajahure mana Srinandanandana Abhaya Charanara Vindare Dulabha Manava Janama Satsangi Tarohi Baba Sindure. I'll read it. O mind, just worship the lotus feet of the son of Nanda, which makes one fearless. Having obtained this rare human birth, cross over this ocean of worldly existence through the association of saintly persons. Sita hatapa batabarishana idina jamani jagire bipala sevanu kripana durajana chapala sukalaba lagire. Both in the day and night I remain sleepless, suffering the pains of the heat and cold, the wind and the rain. For a fraction of flickering happiness, I have uselessly served wicked and miserly men. Idana Jobana Putra Barijana Itiki Hachipara Titire Kamala Dala Jala Jivana Jantalamala Prajau Haripada Nitire. What assurance of real happiness is there in all of one's wealth, youthfulness, sons, and family members? Thus, this life tottering like a drop of water on a lotus petal. Therefore, you should always serve and worship the divine feet of Lord Hari. Shavana Kirtana Smarana Vandana Pada Sevana Dasyare Pujana Sakhijana Atmani Vedana Govinda Dasahabi Lasare. It is a desire and great longing of Govinda Das to engage himself in the 9 processes of bhakti, namely hearing the glories of Lord Hari and chanting these glories, constantly remembering him and offering prayers to him, serving the Lord's lotus feet, serving the Supreme Lord as a servant, serving him as a friend, and completely offering the Lord one's very self. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. On time? Any questions or comments? Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Thank you. Govinda Das Kaviraj ki jai. All my time management.